So welcome. Really appreciate you coming. I always say this, right? Because I think you could do anything this evening, right? We can. One of the Zen sort of caveats is that we practice to save all beings. The idea that, when I work on myself and I become a more peaceful person, and I'm more resolved and more healed and more engaged, more of service, then whatever benefit I produce in the world ripples out, because that person that I help then might, be calmer or more at peace or more engaged with the person in their life, and it ripples out forever. So when we come and we sit, we save everyone. And so it's like you could be, hanging out at a bar tonight, or you could be playing an online video game, and instead you're saving all beings. So thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you choosing to do that. I think it's important to remind yourself that that's part of what you're up to, because we don't tend to give ourselves a lot of credit. So the koan I have tonight comes from The Gateless Barrier by Muman, from the Japanese name of the text is the Mumonkan, and it goes like this. It's case 36. It's called Meeting a Person of the Tao on the Way. And the Tao is like, a person who is awake, a person of the spiritual path, an enlightened person. So Goso said, if you meet a person of the Tao on the way, greet them neither with words nor with silence. Now, tell me, how will you greet them? Neither with words nor with silence. In Zen Buddhism, we love these, don't use the heat or the air conditioner, but make the room feel cool, right? We take these opposite things and then say, don't do either one, right? And why, there's the one we talked about a few weeks ago where it's like two people roll the blinds down, and it's like the teacher says, one has it, one doesn't, So there's these weird paradoxes they're always throwing at us. So what are we talking about? I meet someone and I'm supposed to not greet them with words, and I'm supposed to not greet them with silence. What is this about? It's about leaping free of any fixed notion of what we're supposed to do. And of course, the root of that would be leaping free of any fixed notion of who we're supposed to be. So it isn't that Zen is saying don't greet people. We have a new person who's come today. I didn't walk in and do some weird, stern, silent thing, right? Someone comes, you say hello, obviously. We all know that. The purpose of this practice is not to make us stupid, and it's not to make us stern and scary, right? But we all carry within us a tremendous number of expectations about who we're supposed to be, regrets about who we were in the past, aspirations about who we want to be in the future, fears about who we might be in the future. Go to any workplace where there's multiple people working in a single workplace, right? And people will gather in doorways and hallways and be like, can you believe that so-and-so did blah, blah, blah? Right? I would expect they would do, well, if they just said this, I would have been okay with it, but they said that. Which is really a way of saying, you didn't meet my expectations, and I'm attached to them. If you had met them, I would have treated you differently, but because you didn't meet them, I'm upset. I'm either going to marginalize you to your face, or I'm going to marginalize you with other people in a gossip corner somewhere. But either way, I'm not okay with what is, because it wasn't what I wanted, right? Don't greet them with words or silence, right? Don't have a particular fixed understanding of who someone else is, and don't have a particular fixed understanding of who you are, and then greet them. We want to meet everyone fresh. It's really easy to do when you don't know them, right? The better you know someone, the harder it is to meet them fresh, right? Because we have karma. Karma means cause and effect. So, the people, Thanksgiving's coming up. So Thanksgiving's a very karmically charged time. As a professional counselor, I At the Thanksgiving time, like everyone comes to counseling and they're like, they want to process their plan for like how to get through Thanksgiving, right? Whether it's the political climate at the Thanksgiving table will be too fractured, or perhaps there's like a narcissistic family member who's difficult to get along with, right? Or it could be substance abuse, right? Maybe, grandpa's going to drink a case of beer and pass out in his food. There's 1,000, like, I'm just pulling examples for like that people have shared with me like in the last week, and so how do you do that, right? How do you have Thanksgiving without words or silence, right? In other words, right, one version is like, I just don't say anything, right? Just be silent. Don't worry about it. Just be in denial. Just shut it down. Don't have any boundaries. Suck it up. And there's all kinds of silence, right? There's the deep, vast, expansive silence of our zazen, where we sit and we let go of everything. And we connect with the deep basis of our being, right? That's silence. But then there's also the silence of like, I'm mad at you and I'm going to be passive aggressively silent, right? And there's the silence of, I don't feel safe to say what is authentically true for me, right? Whether it's like drawing boundaries about a holiday celebration or whether it's just, in an intimate relationship or in a friendship, right? I don't feel safe or strong enough to say what I need to say to be myself. That's a kind of silence. But there's also words, right? Don't greet them with words, right? We can have aggressive words, we can have blaming words, we can, launch into people with our expectations, right? If you're going to come to Thanksgiving, I don't want you to talk about politics, right? Well, that might work, but it probably won't, right? We probably can't control other people's behavior for very long. And usually when we try, we get in trouble. It's difficult to control our own behavior, right? I spent my entire counseling career in the field of addiction treatment, right? If people could easily control their behavior, I wouldn't have a job. None of us can easily manage all of this. This is why we practice. It's because human life itself is difficult to manage. All of the impulses and conditioning and experiences and baggage that we all carry is difficult to manage. And so, those are the koans of our lives. So how do we respond? Do we respond with silence? Do we respond with speech? Do we respond in the moment? So all of it starts with what is, right? Because what is already is. There is no future. There is no past, right? The past is already gone, right? We can't influence it. It's over. The future isn't here yet, right? We only can live in the moment. There's literally no other place to be other than right here. We can spend our right here time looking forwards and looking back, but we're still in the moment. We're just in the moment looking at the future or in the moment looking at the past. So all we have is what's right in front of us. And that includes everything. There's a very famous sutra that we chant sometimes called the Heart Sutra. One of the things it says is do not judge by any standards, right? Doesn't mean don't have any standards, right? Doesn't mean I go home and my home is a pigsty, right? I clean it up, have standards. It means don't judge by any standards, right? Like if there's a pile of laundry, you can look at the pile of laundry and go, oh, I need to do laundry. Or you can look at it and judge. You can look at it and go, God, I'm the worst. I can't get everything done. I'm terrible. I'm so disorganized. I'm so ADD. What is wrong with me? Right now I'm judging by a standard. I heard a great quote about laundry, by the way, which is that my commitment is is for my family to have clean clothes to wear, not to have a house free of laundry. Laundry is a cycle. It's like committing to having a yard that's free of leaves. Like you can blow the leaves, but what's going to happen? More leaves are going to fall. It's a cycle, right? No one looks out and goes, well, one day there won't be any more leaves, right? But laundry, we do that. So do not judge by any standards. So when we apply do not judge by any standards to ourselves, then it means that we notice the fullness of what comes up moment by moment. Moment by moment, nonstop flow. Like we notice if we have aversion to a person that's in our life. We notice if we have attraction to a person that's in our life. We notice if we have numbness around a person in our life. Like what we bring to each moment, what we bring to each situation, we bring. And so we can't, we can suppress it, but we still are bringing it. Now we're bringing it plus it being suppressed. So this is why we have to sit, because it gets complicated so fast, right? And so this is why we sit, because it gives us a chance to sort through this stuff and to be like, okay. What is most authentic to me? What work do I want to do? How do I want to relate to that person? What do I want to do for Thanksgiving? All of these are koans, right? And we're better off sitting down on the cushion and spending some time with the koans of our life than just reacting reflexively out of our old conditioning. And the reason we come to a practice center to sit is because it gives us a beat to step out of the traffic, right? It's life is like we're driving the car, like you're driving and trying to put on your makeup and drink a coffee and adjust your cell phone and fix the temperature in the car. It's too many things, right? Life is like that. Out in life, there's all these demands and people and questions and concerns and, surprised situations and all this stuff going on. So we come sit, set up a little corner in your house, go sit, come here, sit, take a minute, let things come up in a safe place where you can work on them, notice them, figure out what feels authentic, do the math in your head of okay, what's really there? Who am I? Who am I really? I'm always using the word oryoki, that translates as just the right amount. Right? So what is the right amount? And that applies to literally everything. Right? What's the right amount of sleep? Well, it's not none. But if I sleep for 18 hours a day, I'm probably depressed. Right? So somewhere in there is the right amount. So then, as we transition through the world, right, as we pass through the world, we get to decide. We carry within us the knowledge of what is the right amount. And only we know what is the right amount for us, for the life situations that arise in our lives. It's our decision. Zen is not a religion that's powered by other power, right? It's a religion that's powered by self-power. So the teaching is you are already enlightened. Stop, notice it, work with it, figure out what the right amount is. And then if you make a mistake, that's okay. Just correct, right? Figure that out, work on that. So, Muman has this comment. He says, if you can give an apt answer to the question, it is certainly a matter for congratulation. If you're not yet able to give one, be alert in every aspect of your life. So if you know how to respond authentically, that's a matter of congratulation, right? If you're not using silence or words, right? If you're not saying, oh, I have to do it this way. I have to be this person for this person and be this person for that situation and be this other person in this arena, right? If instead you can just be a true person of no rank, a true person of no particular position, that's a matter for congratulation. And if you can't do that yet, look at your life, look around, look at everything that's happening and see if you can find that space. So I think it's important as we head into the holidays to head in with an open mind, right? An open heart. Not just an open heart to others, but an open heart to ourselves, because there's a tremendous number of expectations that come at us of who we are and what we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do and what it's supposed to mean and how it's supposed to feel. And none of that is real. It's all projection. And you you can just take a minute and find out, where is the ground that I stand on? And what do I stand for? And then stand for it. Okay, that's enough.